You know, sometimes you can ask the most ridiculous question. Sometimes you don't have to ask anything. You just listen to people talking. Rodney Harrison, the former All-Pro defensive back for Patriots, joining us, the Man Cave in New York City.
You pay your heat bill here?
I like it a little bit colder.
Yeah, you like it. I don't like it. I'm a guest.
Well, you want a sweater? Do you guys have a blankie for Rodney? Here's one of the tougher guys who ever played the game. Does Rodney get a blankie here? Can we do that here? You played in New England.
I know. I don't play anymore. I'm skinny. I'm skinny. My blood is thin.
Rodney drinks so much water on the set of Football Night in America, and he's always got to take pee breaks. Always. Problem is sometimes they'll leave his microphone on, so we'll go, "Where's Tony?" And then you'll just hear this. And then you were telling us during the game, when you played, you drank so much water, you just pee your pants.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Why would you say that to everyone?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I drink a lot of water. You know, when we do our show on on Sunday, and I also drink a lot of water when I played. And you can't use the bathroom when you're on defense, so you just pee in your pants. It's just a big, huge, wet spot because we had silver pants, and you pee in your pants. And my wife knew that I always used to pee in my pants.
But this is normal?
Yeah, I think most
for the most
players
part.
Yeah, I mean, if you drink a lot of water, you try to hydrate, and you just don't have time to run in the locker room, take a pee, and come back. So you just pee.
I can't imagine Brady doing this.
I never looked. I never paid attention.
You never asked?
I never paid attention.
Yeah, so you just wrap a towel around you.
Sit down on the bench, wrap a towel around you, and you just pee in the towel and make sure that you throw that towel out.
Yeah, you'd hate for one of your teammates, you look over and Teddy Bruschi's got your towel there. Teddy, not that towel. Not that towel. Glad to have you in here, and a few things to talk about. If you were going to look at the headline for Week 3, good or bad or ugly, what would be the headline that you would take away from what we saw over the weekend?
Probably the disappointing teams of Washington and the New York Giants starting 0-3. And really, I don't know which team is worse or in a worse situation. You look at the Giants, just completely awful, the offensive line. And when you have a situation like that, Dan, you look for the leadership. Where's the leadership? And you can blame Tom Coughlin, but it's only so much he can do. There's not a magic scheme or anything that he can just, miraculously pull up. It's about players making plays, players having pride, and your better players making plays. And Eli Manning, he has to take full responsibility. He has to stop throwing interceptions. The offensive line has to block better. But if you're Washington, you have some optimism. Your defense is horrible.
Yeah.
But RG3, he looks better week in and week out, and that's the improvement that I like to see.
Well, the Steelers, too. They lost their identity.
What is their identity? Your identity is based on the players that you have. They don't have a lot of great players.
But they used to be a running team, big play passes from Ben, and an opportunistic defense.
Right, but they don't have those players. That's my entire point.
But they didn't change their style. They kept their same style with guys who aren't capable of doing that anymore.
Right, and that's up to the head coach to say we're no longer the team that we used to be. We don't have that running back. We don't have that big physical offensive line with Alan Faneca and those guys that we used to have. We don't have the bus.
Yeah.
We have a quarterback that likes to run around and extend plays, but we don't have big play wide receivers. So it's up to Mike Tomlin to try to change. I'll tell you the biggest thing they need to do. They need to fire Todd Haley. He was a wreck in Kansas City. He destroyed Matt Castle. Matt Castle was a good quarterback until he got his hands on him. And now Big Ben looks like he's confused. He looks like he's scared to play.
If you're looking at those teams, let's just look at Giants and Steelers right now. Which one's in worse shape? Okay, how about this? How about we forward spin? Who has a better chance of turning it around to be a playoff contender?
I would say the Giants. At the end of the day, I still believe JPP, Justin Tuck, those guys can get going. That defensive line used to be the staple of their entire defense, used to be the personality. They no longer have that at this point in time. They're not playing well, but you got Eli Manning. All it takes is for Eli Manning to get hot, to start throwing some touchdowns, and this team could turn it around.
He's Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America, Dan Patrick Show. You had how many guys have had 30 sacks and 30 interceptions in a career?
Maybe one other, I think Ray Lewis.
So you and Ray are the only guys in NFL history?
Ray was the second.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I love Ray, but Ray, you're number 2 right now.
We talked about this before, and I think we were in agreement that the Ravens' defense might be better this year than last year's team because I think we get caught up in the names with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. the Denver game was an embarrassment, but they have played really well.
Yeah.
We got Flacco on next hour. Offensively, we have questions. Defensively, you got questions with the Ravens after what they did?
You know what? Everyone gave me a hard time when I said I think this defense is better.
Yeah.
Obviously they didn't play well against the Denver Broncos, but I believe they're faster, they're more athletic. I talked to my former defense coordinator, Dean Pease. He said, we're at a good spot. Daryl Smith, he doesn't get a lot of recognition. Ray Lewis is the big name, but he's faster. He's more athletic, and he's a smart player, and they like him because he's a leader. So I think they're better. I like Matt Elam, the safety they drafted out of Florida. I think he gives them something that Ed Reed couldn't give them, a younger presence. He's healthy. He's on the field. Ray Lewis wasn't healthy the entire year. So I think this is a better defense.
When we come back, we'll continue with Rodney. I want to ask you about RG3. As a defensive player, what would you fear with RG3, the difference? And will he get faster as the year goes on, or is this what we're going to see? And also with the 49ers, not only what happened on the field, but also with Aldon Smith. Would you have played him yesterday if you're Jim Harbaugh? We'll continue with Rodney Harrison. We'll do so next. '30 Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. Rodney Harrison, former All-Pro defensive back and now a member of Football Night in America, joining us here in the Man Cave. Did you see this injury where Rashad Johnson, Cardinal safety, he lost the tip of his finger?
No, I didn't see it.
He took his glove off, and the middle top of his middle left finger came off as well. So he had the injury, discovered it when he took off the glove, and the part of the finger was still in the glove when he took it off.
Did he go back in the game?
I think it was after the game. He had surgery last night. What's the worst thing you've ever seen in all the years you played?
Well, not even the worst thing I've ever seen, just probably the worst thing I've ever felt was when I tore my ACL, MCL, PCL. I got leg whipped in 2005 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I just felt 3 pops, pop, 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 and I knew my career was over. I just knew it. It was probably the most excruciating pain I've ever faced.
Did you hear it pop?
I felt it pop.
Oh,
it was like pop, 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 and I'm like, oh my God. I said, it's over for me. And then I kind of blacked out for about 10 seconds, and then I woke up, and I saw these doctors around me, and I just said, Doc, I'm done. I said, I can't move.
Well, is that what Adrian Peterson went through? Because he, said he felt those pops when he blew out his knee.
Yeah, and he probably got shocked, and he felt the pain, and automatically your knee starts to swell up, it starts to throb, and you just, for me, I was at a point in time where I just thought it was over. I said, there's no way I can come back from this injury. And Adrian Peterson, I mean, he's a young stud, and he's probably a lot stronger than what I was, but I don't know what he was experiencing, but I know it's something similar to what I went through.
RG3, with what he's going through right now, I was in the minority. I said I wouldn't have started him week 1. You don't ease somebody into the season. But I think there was this campaign. He was wearing his T-shirt. He was out in front saying, I'll be back. Everybody's saying, well, Adrian Peterson did it. So all this pressure here. Playoff team, hungry for a winner, put him back out there. But when you make your living with those legs to go along with your arm, then I have to sometimes be your seatbelt. I have to say, no, let's hold back a little bit here. The only thing I want to know, and that's what they're asking, this morning in D.C., is will he get healthier while he's playing, or does he have to stop playing to get healthier to be what he once was?
I think what people have to understand first, Dan, is you're not going to hurt the knee unless something tragic happens, like you get a leg whip. The knee is fine. It's intact. I think the biggest thing for RG3 is he needs these reps to gain confidence. He doesn't have that explosiveness, but he's a very fast guy. But we've seen him really, really explode, and he doesn't have that same explosiveness. But I think as he continues to play, get these valuable reps, he will become more confident, which we're seeing. And we're seeing him do more bootlegs, rolling out the pocket, running now down the field. So I think he needs more reps. Now, you said to me when we were off camera, you said he should have waited a couple weeks. But a couple weeks, you lose so much valuable time and game experience. I think people can't underestimate how valuable game experience is.
But Rodney, I'm trying to figure this out. Is it confidence that doesn't make him run 4.240, or does he need time off to be able to get back up to that, to get healthier?
You just need time for your leg to get stronger.
But is it confidence?
It's confidence when you're sitting in the pocket and you're throwing off your back leg, that's confidence because you don't have the confidence to step into your throws, and that's what we saw the first couple of weeks. What I saw yesterday was a more confident RG3 getting outside the pocket, running, cutting. He's moving better, and I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to start seeing maybe a little more read option. Because as a player, you want to get hit coming off an injury like that. You want, I just got hit. You know what? My knee feels fine. Because that first hit is always the scariest hit. Once you get hit, you start thinking, will my knee pop again? And that's the thing that circulates in your mind.
The Niners on the field. What's worse, the Niners on the field or off the field with what's gone on here with Aldon Smith? Let me start there. Would you have played Aldon Smith
Not at all.
If you're Jim Harbaugh?
Not at all. I thought that was an opportunity for him to set an example and help this young man in his life. If you're out drinking and you get caught with a DUI, Friday morning, something's wrong. There's a problem there.
7 in the morning.
Right. Something wrong.
Yeah.
There's something wrong there. And I think Harbaugh, it's almost like rewarding your kid for disrespecting you or doing something. You can't do that. As a coach, you have an opportunity, you have a platform to set a standard in your locker room. And if I'm in that locker room, I look at Harbaugh and say, I don't respect you. I don't respect you because it's a double standard, because this guy had 19 sacks or whatever he had. It's okay for him to play. What's more important, getting his kid some help or letting him play? And you saw yesterday that he wasn't the same player. The kid needs help. He has a drinking problem. Football's not that important. Get him some help. When he comes back, if he's sober, then he'll play. You'll give him a massive contract, and he'll be a great player for the next 10 years. But I thought it was a huge mistake, and then you see San Francisco. And he has to take a responsibility and accountability for his action. He's a grown man. Yeah. Now, everyone's feeling sorry for this kid, but what if he would have drove that car and hit your wife, hit your kids, hit one of my kids? He's a grown man. He has to take responsibility for his actions. He did not deserve to play in that game.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for him. I just know that when it comes to rehab, if somebody finally admits they have a problem, then help them with the problem right away. And you're playing the Colts. Let's say you're playing Jacksonville. Would they have pushed to have him play against Jacksonville?
I don't know at this point. I don't know what's going on out west with those guys.
Well, you just came off the loss to Seattle.
I just think it was wrong. If I'm the president of that organization, if I'm the owner, I'm saying, look, guys, we're going to we're going to get him some help, and we're going to move in a different direction. And if it takes a month, 6 weeks, whatever it takes to get this young man. But now, you have Harbaugh. He's not the most personable guy, and maybe he's not the most sincere guy. Does he care about you as a person? That's what you start to question if you're allowing this kid to play and he has a drinking problem.
What about on the field here? I mean, that offensively, you're coming off the game against Seattle. You're going home, and the Colts, far more into this game than San Francisco was. I don't know if it had anything to do with Aldon Smith or any of that, but Kaepernick didn't play well at all again.
And when you have a young quarterback struggling, you have to get back to running the ball. I know Frank Gore, he and Harbaugh reportedly had some issues. And you have a Frank Gore, why won't you run the football? And that's the biggest question. To me, Colin Kaepernick, Vernon Davis is out, Mario Manningham is out, Michael Crabtree is out. Who will he throw the ball to? And he's not effective because the Colts, they don't have a great defense. They played well yesterday, but they don't have a great defense. They have a very fast defense, and they did a good job of keeping them in the pocket. But now Colin Kaepernick, it seems like without all his weapons, he's not the same player. It seems like he's kind of reverted back to, just making some rookie mistakes. But, it's one of those situations where you have to run the ball, take some pressure off your quarterback.
Well, we've been yelling at the Cowboys for how long? To run the football.
Yes.
And they finally ran the football.
But it probably won't last.
Exactly. Because you paid Tony Romo all that money not to hand off, but to throw the ball.
Which is unfortunate because I think it makes him a better quarterback. And you saw how relieved he was in his post-game conference when he can hand the ball off 20 times. And and obviously they're not going to run for 175 yards each game, but you got to have some type of balance.
I was wondering this. I was critical of Tom Brady with the way he was with his wide receivers in the previous week.
Yeah.
That I don't know how that helps a young kid. If Brady was yelling at you as a rookie,
I would get down.
Yeah.
You look at Tom Brady, you come in, you hear all, you've watched, as a young player, you've watched Tom Brady, you're in college, you look up to him, and even in high school. And you walk into camp and like this is Tom Brady. You're excited to play for him. You make the team, And now, after the first week or two, you see him yelling, throwing helmets, yelling and screaming. And you know, if you play with Tom, like I play with Tom, he's a very fiery guy. He's an emotional guy. He's always prepared. And he gets frustrated. But at the same time, he's the leader of the team. And I just think that his emotions took over. And that's not a way to handle these young players because they look up to you. And it's easy as a young player to get discouraged. And if you got Tom Brady yelling and screaming, but I think what we saw yesterday was it wasn't the wide receivers he was frustrated. He was more frustrated with himself, Dan, because Tom Brady, he's not playing great. He's not playing well at this point. And he's missed a lot of open opportunities. Two guys running down the field wide open, waving their hands like this, and he didn't. So he's frustrated not only in those wide receivers, he's more frustrated in himself.
Well, you're also what we've asked of Brady all these years. Because he's made guys into good receivers. Guys we didn't even know who they were.
Yeah.
Running backs, we didn't know who they were. That the system has made them a lot better. I think Brady finally opened up the cupboard and went, who are these guys? Where did everybody go here? And now it's really on Brady. You don't have a running game. I don't have my all-pro tight ends. I don't necessarily have a great deep threat. My possession guy is now out for a couple of weeks. I lost my buddy Wes Welker. He's got to be saying, guys, I'll try to score 21 points, and I hope you guys play great defense.
And he's looking around the AFC East, and he's saying, well, you know what? The Miami Dolphins are better. The Buffalo Bills are better. The window of opportunity is closing down because I'm getting older, and I don't have all these great players like the Brewskis and Seymours that I used to have. So I think he realizes, too, the importance of winning. You know, lost 2 losses to the Giants in the Super Bowl. He understands that, like, I want to win right now. And, you know, without Rob Gronkowski and all these weapons that he has to stay a little more patient because it's not working right now.
Do you think, I'll let you go on this one, Belichick and Brady are joined at the hip, that when Tom is done, Bill's done? Could you see that?
If I'm Bill, as much, it all depends. And I asked Coach this a while back, and I asked him, I said, how much longer do you have? He says, you know, it's just – I take it year by year, and, you know, I feel pretty good. I got a lot of energy, and I think that's the thing with Bill. Bill's a great coach, but I also think that you see when you don't have the players that is it the scheme, is it the players, is it the coach? I think it's a combination of everything, and I think you saw that with the San Francisco 49ers. You see that with the Giants. You know, as great as Eli Manning is and 2 Super Bowl championships, if you don't have the players across the board, you struggle in this league.
But if Brady plays 3 more years, let's say.
I think definitely Bill. I think definitely because Bill, he's made his mark on this team. This is a pretty good defense. They got some good young players, and then they have some good draft choices. They still got money under the cap where they can go out and get players. I still think they can be competitive next 3 years easy.
Good to visit with you.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
I'll see you next weekend.
And the Danettes?
Yeah, he's Rodney Harrison, the first to ever have at least 30 sacks and 30 interceptions. The second was Ray Lewis.
Number 2.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I love Ray Lewis.
You shouldn't be afraid of Ray. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, don't worry. Is there an NFL guy that you're afraid of?
The one that was signing my check. It was Mr. Kraft.
Who's the guy you would not want to get in a fight with?
Was it Steve Grogan? Used to play for the San Francisco 49ers. Big, is it Steve Grogan?
No.
Big Grogan. I forget his name.
Kevin Gogan?
Kevin Gogan. 6'8".
Really?
Oh, man, he was a beast. 6'8", 6'9".
What about
300.
James Harrison or something like that?
Oh, I definitely wouldn't want to fight James. James, you know, I don't know if he's got it all up there, but he's a terrific player, but, man.
He's crazy?
Yeah, he's wired a little differently. But the good thing about it, Dan, is if he hits me, I just sue him.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.